Update 35 is back on beta, this time for the 4th beta build, and in this video I'm going to go through all the new changes. Starting off, we're going to look at some screenshots of some new items and some drop rates from update 35. First item we see is a Crimson Thistle. This is clearly a cooking material, probably used for the new special food. Just keep this item in mind, we'll see pretty soon where you can get it from. We have screenshots of new cooked food. Luxurious freshwater fish plate. If we compare this to the fish plates we have currently, you can see that the in-combat power regen is more than doubled. So really good food for power purposes. And one thing to also note, the duration is 2 hours on this food compared to 10 minutes. And if you look all the way at the bottom, the effects of this meal will persist through defeat. So this is our new cooked food that lasts 2 hours and also persists through death. So if you die, you still have the food buff. So a really good food for raiders and a really nice quality of life upgrade for food. We also have screenshots of the item drop rates. Shout out to Frost from the LOTRO Progress Discord server. He always makes these really nice charts looking at the drop rates from new instances. Keep in mind, this data is from bullroarer, so this could easily change. And I'm not gonna go through these too in depth, but this is the first 3-man sent lore, the loot. You can see all the different loot that you can get, and you can see the drop rates from different tiers. Just a quick note here, you can see that the food recipes for the new crafted food, I believe, they seem pretty low, 2%. And there's also the Crimson Thistle, only 1%, so these items are pretty rare, is what it seems. But they seem to be dropping from pretty much all the content, which is good. And you'll also notice that the portents also drop, 1.5% drop chance, as well as some power related traceries. Other than that, you have your usual essences and jewelry and armor pieces and some cosmetic stuff. The other 3-man Thaurisgar also has pretty similar loot, pretty much. You can look for yourself what the drop rates are. We also get a look at Sagroth, the 6-man loot. As you can see, it's pretty similar. You can see that from the last boss, we're actually getting offhands, new offhands, shields, and bows. And on higher tiers, they actually drop teal, offhands, shields, and bows. And we can see that the class item drops here, and on higher tiers, there's a chance of getting a gold class item, as well as the usual essences drop, and cosmetics, and portent and power essence. We also have the new raid loot table. I'm going to zoom in a bit on the left at first. As we can see, the first 2 encounters don't have that great of a loot. Second boss, though, does drop the teal shields, offhands, and bows, as well as class items. So it seems like the first encounter is pretty basic. You're getting the pocket items, and then your chance of the... and then the chance for the new food items. Essences can drop, and enhancement runes. On the second encounter, we can get offhands teal, shields teal, and bows teal. And the class item starts dropping. Other than that, no really unique loot. Same thing, rare chance for the food items. And if we look at the last 2 encounters, this seems to be where some of the good jewelry drops and the good armor pieces. And we can see that we're getting some teal and gold enhancement runes from these 2 encounters, as well as traceries. And one more thing to note, there's actually a chance for the lump of brilliant silver to drop from the last boss. These are the loot drop tables. They can be found in the Ghyniverse in my Discord server if you want to look at them on your own, or you can just look at the screenshots that I've put here in my video. We also had some stat adjustments and actually some set bonuses on some items. These are from tier 4 Thaurisgar. The earrings, as you can see, they have in-combat power regen on their set bonus, and also clearly way too high fate. This is clearly a bug. But these items have their stats adjusted, as well as a set bonus added to them. Same thing for the other 3-man Sent Lore tier 4 earrings had stats adjusted and set bonus added to them. The new 6-man is now showing teal bows and offhands for tier 4, and there's also teal shields showing on the tier 5 6-man tab. We also had some changes to the raid gear. Tier 1 teal rings are now showing a set bonus on the items, and these set bonuses, as we can see on the requirements, The set bonuses require 3 or 4 different items to get the set bonuses active, and we can see that the items needed are an earring, a bracelet, a necklace, ring, or pocket item, which means 4 of your slots would have to be filled. 4 of your jewelry slots would have to be filled in order to get the 4 sets. So to me, it seems like you're going to be able to build 4 and 4. So 4 different items for one set bonus and 4 different items for the other set bonus. And then you can pretty much choose between 2 of these set bonuses. Looking at these set bonuses, we have on every heal skill 5% chance to have 10% outgoing healing modifier for 10 seconds. And some of these seem a bit unfinished. On every harmful skill, 5% chance to do something. Same here. This is a more defensive one. On every harmful skill, 5% chance on partial block, partial evade, or block. You gain plus 8% incoming healing modifier and plus 1% evade chance for 5 seconds. That seemed a lot more complicated than it had to be. This ring has on every harmful skill 5% chance to get plus 4% damage for 5 seconds. It's possible that these unfinished ones also have the same effect as this, but we don't know. On every harmful skill, 5% chance for 10% attack speed for 10 seconds. We have another one with the incoming healing and parry chance. Or I guess it's parry chance instead of evade, but the same as that one. Another 4% damage set bonus, another 10% outgoing healing modifier. It seems like DPS classes might be looking at getting 2 sets of the 4% damage. If you're a healer, you get the outgoing healing. Obviously, these are not finished yet. They could still change, but at least we see the first draft of the set bonuses. But these are the tier 1 raid teal rings. Tier 2 raid pocket items also had the stats adjusted and set bonuses added. Tier 3 of the raid bracelets, same thing, stats adjusted and set bonuses added. Tier 4 teal earrings from the raid had their stats adjusted and set bonuses added. And the same goes for the tier 4 raid necklaces, both teal and the gold had their stats adjusted and their set bonuses added. Just a quick note on the Splendor of Spring quest from the Spring Festival. The gold tracery token has now been added to the rewards. As we know, this fix should be coming on March 21st with a patch. Hopefully that patch is this update, update 35. But just to let people know, don't complete the Splendor of Spring until the next update for your gold tracery token. Another thing people noticed, the gold necklaces that were appearing on the raid bullroarer in the tavern have actually been moved to the Delving reward vendor. Let's take a look. So if we look at the Delving rewards upgrades and we keep scrolling down, we see the teal necklaces that people have been working for on live already. But if we keep scrolling down, you can see the gold necklaces appear. And to get these necklaces, as you can see, they have an extra essence slot and they also still have the class essence slot. To get the gold necklace, you simply need a teal necklace and 5 lumps of brilliant silver. Now, a lot of people got upset when they saw this. The delving system was promised to be a catch-up system and not something you would have to do to get an item. And people thought that, okay, they're giving the gold necklace to the delving system, but that's not the case. If we go to the bullroarer forums, we had a forum post actually inquiring about this, and SSG Orion has replied to this. So I'm just going to read this real quick. His first point is to look at the dev diary for the delvings to see the changes being made there. And before moving on, some of the delving changes are looking nice. They're making them more passable, I would say. Like the corruption mechanic, it no longer has 3 layers, it only has 2 layers. Small minor nerfs to some really annoying mechanics, as well as like the big range, the detection radius of the mobs, stuff like that. So I do think delvings will be easier with the new update, or if not easier, more bearable to run. His second point was, yes, what you're seeing is the best in slot necklace, but that's only one of the avenues where you can get it. Delvings are supposed to be an alternate way to get raid level gear, and that's fine, and they're sticking to that directions. He's saying delvings are a way to get the new best in slot necklace, but not the only way. The necklace will drop, unsurprisingly, in the raid once it becomes active and players reach the correct tier for the item to drop. So it seems pretty clear that the charts we see on the beta are not finalized, so there's still going to be some changes to that. The gold necklace will drop from the raid as well. One of the most annoying things about the Delvings when they were introduced were the quests were so scattered around in the world. You had to go to Andrath, Skurlock Farm. There was one all the way down here in Sarnford, just randomly out of the way. This has now been changed. There are now 3 places where you get your quests. First one is in Andrath as my current location from Baglan. The other location is in Herne from Hithriel. You can see Hithriel now has a lot of quests. Hithriel has both of the weeklies, but don't worry, the weekly will be available from all 3 of these locations. And the third location will be in Clegor in Swanfleet, and from Ervo Kirch, you will also have quests. So if you're doing your delvings in Swanfleet and Cardolan, Clegor, Herne, and Andrath are your 3 locations to get your quests. We have some PvMP news. The commendation cost for Audacity gear for free peoples has been reduced, and from now on, in order to have Audacity actually work on your character, every armor and every jewelry slot will have to have Audacity armor, which basically means you can't wear PvE gear in the moors, because if you wear PvE gear at all, then you won't get the Audacity effects. You'll take a lot more incoming damage, and you'll deal less damage. So in order to play effectively in the moors now as a free player, every armor slot, every jewelry slot will have to have PvMP gear. And with this change, the PvMP cloaks now also have Audacity on them. For Orc Reaver, Blade Toss is now 10 meter range, and Glory in Victory will correctly change when you acquire a defeat response. Tyrant Burzgoth now patrols in Grotham all the way northeast. And there's been power adjustment to every creep skill. We had a few changes for the captain class. Oathbreaker's Shame now has a new icon, and I kind of like it, if I'm being honest. Pretty cool icon for Oathies. Master of War got nerfed by half, from 50% to 25%, which is a good nerf because this was quite frankly a bit OP. The damage buff from your Blade Brother Inspire got a slight nerf. This is the Inspire damage buff currently. Cry of Fury, which is your rest skill when you stand alone, it changes to Cry of Fury. Got its max targets and radius increased. Noble Mark had its incoming damage reduced. I believe it was 15% maybe on the last beta. It now reduces 5% incoming damage. And the In Harm's Way allied damage reduction in the In Harm's Way damage reduction tracery has been increased. And when it comes to the upcoming Corsair class, we have a little bit of news. Giselda, one of the calculators in the Ghyniverse, has done some data mining and found some stuff. Basically, it seems like the Corsair class is going to have a balance mechanic, kind of like the Rune-Keeper. So as you can see, Pip Home, which is the center, is 10, and then if you max it out, it's 19, and minimum is 1, and balance. So basically, it looks like the Arcade's attunement, where if you build the damage, you go to the left. If you build healing, it goes to the right. So it seems like currently early signs points toward the Corsair having sort of a system like that. As we can see, a balance shifts fore and aft with a steady state of 10. As a ship tilts fore and aft upon the waves, so does your combat balance. So clearly the new class is someone who likes to be in a ship, and as the waves tilts up and down, so does this class. So we don't really know much more about the upcoming class, only that all the signs points towards it being a medium class. And of course this little tease from Giselda, the balance shifting fore and aft. One change to the champion class, Swift Blade or Swift Strike now generates power upon use. Two very minor changes to the Minstrel. If you're playing in Resonance stance, Major Ballad will restore a small amount of power, and the Pause for Breath trait will now increase the power restored by Major Ballad in Resonance. A couple of Rune-Keeper changes as well. Vivid Imagery is now back to attuning 3 battle attunement, and this skill no longer has an interaction with CNR. The radius of Vivid has also been increased to 7 meters. Sustaining Bolt power restore has been increased, and the self-motivation cooldown and power restore tracery will now increase the morale or the power depending on if you put points into self-motivation. If you don't put any points, it increases power. If you put points, it increases the morale heal. When it comes to the Warden, if we look at the passive traits of the Warden now, scroll down until we find the Master Spear training. This trait has been increased to 7%, while Master Sword stays at 2%, but since we have so many racial bonuses that can increase sword damage, this basically makes spears viable for DPS. So good change there. The Hidden Horde Red Warden armor set has finally been updated. The 4 set now gives plus 20% spear gambit initial damage from recklessness. And I think it's pretty fair to say that yellow set bonus is still gonna be the best choice. Blue Warden gets the Blue Warden trait line has 2 new icons you can see here in the middle of blue. The Gambit called Deflection greatly decreases threat against multiple targets. So it's basically an AoE skill where you reduce the threat for yourself. If you trade points into Redirect Ire in blue line, Deflection will make you appear more threatening rather than less. So putting points into this will simply increase your threat instead of decreasing your threat. The other trait in blue interacts with the skill of Resounding Challenge. Resounding Challenge, of course, is an AoE dot attack. Putting points into Undeniable Challenge will turn this skill into instant aggro damage instead of putting the bleed. Basically, putting points into this will change your Resounding Challenge from a bleed skill to a strong aggro building skill. Another change, Warden healing and morale taps has seen a small nerf. The heals have been reduced by about 5 to 10%. Rapid techniques can only be used in combat. Bane of Shadow, which used to be in blue line, has been moved to the yellow utility line for the light type damage. I don't know how long this has been in the build. I just wanted to mention that Recklessness has a red icon, no longer blue. The Cauterizing Steel cash out has been reduced slightly. The Unseen Strikes cash out has been increased slightly. Ranged Resounding Challenge is still the same old targetable skill, but if you're in the fray in melee stance, Resounding Challenge is now an AoE around the Warden. So I don't even have to look at this target. I can use range Resounding right here, and it hits the target. And just one final note for this beta, Sarch Vorn, the Black Grave, boss 1 and 2 got some damage increases. Thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing to help out the channel, leave a like, join my Discord, and I'll see you in the next one. If you're playing or looking to play Lord of the Rings online, there is one place you need to be. The Ghyniverse! The Ghyniverse is a community Discord server for the game Lord of the Rings Online. In this server, you'll find anything from giveaways. There's also a frequently asked questions channel that I would recommend checking out first. You'll be able to see when I put out new YouTube videos, whenever I stream. You can also ask for the streamer role, and you'll be able to post your own streams in this server for everyone to see. There's currently over 5,000 members in this Discord, and it keeps growing. You will also find discussion channels about the game, LOTRO. You can ask any questions in the help channel. There's discussions for every single class in the game and PvP. But one of the best things about this server is the best in slot items section. In this section you can find trait lines for every single class. You will find screenshots of the current best gear being displayed. In this channel you'll find charts showing what stats you need for your characters, mitigations, mastery crit, finesse, but you'll also find useful information about drop rates in different instances. I hope you will consider joining my server, and maybe one day I'll see you in Middle Earth.